In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to maximize your silver at Orc Camp. How do you prepare for the grind? I'll give you some tips. I'll also explain how to properly grind at Orcs, and I'll also tell you what you should be expecting from it at the end of the video. Before we go grinding at Orcs, I'll be telling you all you need to know in order to have the best experience possible. And we're gonna start with the Monsterzone Info. So like if you press escape, you can type here monster and it's gonna be probably the second. If you click on it, this window is gonna appear, and here you can just click on Elvia Realm, and if you scroll a little bit down, you're gonna see Orc Camp here. And if you click on it, it's gonna be telling you a lot of useful info about the grind spot you want to grind it. So in this case, we're talking about Orc Camp, and here's all you need to know about Orc Camp. So first of all, it tells you like the recommended AP and DP for the spot. Then it shows you your AP and DP. It also tells you like the node investment, which I'm gonna be talking about a bit later. And then you also have the loot pool here, and this is literally every single thing that can drop while you're grinding orcs. So, like those are the items you are expected to be dropping while you're grinding. It also gives you like the reoccurring quests. So like those are some quests you can pick up before you're starting your grind. And then it tells you the ecology knowledge. So this is basically how are you doing. It's like 17 out of 17 in my case. I've done all the knowledge on orcs. If you want to do the knowledge on orcs, it's best if you just kill the normal orcs. Like out of Elvia, you just go kill like the basic orcs, get the knowledge fast, and then you just go on Elvia and just do your grind. It also tells you how your title progression is in the spot. In my case, I have all the titles you can get from the spot as well. But like most importantly, when you're going to grind at orcs or in any spot ever, it's this little button over here. It looks like a refresh button. It says view total stats. So like when you click on this, it actually tells you, like in my case, right, it tells me my total stats when it comes to like damage. And as you can see, like the minimum recommended is 700, but it says here that it's 856 restricted. What does that mean? Well, basically at 856, any sort of AP you'll have over that number is just gonna count for less. And in case of Orc Camp, it's gotta be just 5% of total AP past 856 is gonna count towards your total AP. So we're talking about this number right here. In my case, I'm awakening, it's 815, right? So basically right now, without any like buffs or anything, here it says 815. Unfortunately, the in-game one will only show like some of the stats, not all of them. If you want to see all of your stats, you will have to make a Garmoth account and just plaster all of your items and buffs in Garmoth, and you'll get like a better representation of it. But like this is just like a general guideline kind of thing, and you should think that if you're close to this number, if you buff up and if you have the right crystals, you're probably gonna reach the cap. Now, why is the cap important? The cap is important because we're gonna be talking now about like buffing up for the spot, and sometimes the buffs can differ based on what your AP is. So like if you're gonna reach that cap, some buffs will just do you no good after that point. So like let me explain. So there's a bunch of different buffs you can use. Let me go see. So first of all, we got like the giant straw, you got like elixirs of dip sea, spirit perfumes. Like those are like very popular buffs right now. If you're in Elvia, NPCs don't show. Well, let me just get out of here, and I will show to you all of the possible buffs and explain like how it works. So basically, Most people, if they don't reach the AP cap of 856, they will probably be using Frenzy Elixir and Cron Meal. Now, simple Cron Meal is very popular in spots where the soft cap is either like 70% or it's like a very high cap, like in Ulukita right now. So like what would you want to do is like, if that number, right, at like Monsterzone Info, if you go and you search Orc Camp and it says 856 and you have like say 815, right? If I just look at my buffs right now, I'm gonna get 30 extra AP from the Frenzy Draught, and then I'm just gonna get another 30 from Simple Cron Meal. So that means I'm gonna surpass 856 if I use both of those buffs right now. So it's advised to just get a different kind of buff that maybe doesn't like get me like over it, but it gets me like pretty close to the soft cap, and just gives me other like useful bonuses instead. So in this case, the Frenzy one seems like it's better in this case for Orc Camp, but in reality for me, I need to use Giant's Draught because like Frenzy just goes way over, and basically I don't make use of partially like some of the stats from the Frenzy Draught. So like with the Giant Draught, I would just get like 10 AP, but I get extra like all special attack damage instead. And like special attack damage means like back attack, air attack, down attack, and stuff like that. You get all of them into one, and it's 10%, so it's really huge. Every single time a skill of yours uses one of those, you're gonna be getting 10% extra damage on that. So like in this case, Giant's Draught is a little bit more useful than anything that the Frenzy Draught has to give you. Same with the Simple Cron Meal. If this one still gets me past the soft cap of 5%, that means basically most of the AP I'm gonna be getting is gonna be like trivial, you know? So it's best to switch it up with an Exquisite Cron Meal, and you'll have a little bit of extra AP in case like you don't really reach the soft cap, or like you need a little bit to reach it, and then all the other stats like help you. Like in this case, it gives me 5% back attack, some critical damage, ignore all resistances and stuff like this. So it's really good to use this one instead. It also like makes up for accuracy as well. I feel like it gives more accuracy than if you use the other two as well. Like it's 12 compared to like 15, and it's a little bit better. But in any case, the gist is, again, if you are reaching the cap, it's best to switch up your elixirs to something like Giant's Draught and Exquisite Cron Meal. Some people also use, I don't know if I have one here, but they also use Perfume of Courage. Yeah, I got one here. Perfume of Courage also boosts your AP a lot. Again, if you're at the cap, Perfume of Courage is just not good for you. If you don't reach that cap in like Monster Info or on Garmouth, it's good to use Spirit, like Perfume of Courage, but like if you're reaching it, if you use a Perfume of Courage, you're using it for nothing. Like you're just wasting a buff basically. And this one in particular is also really expensive right now. So you also need to take into account when you're buffing. If you use 3 Perfumes of Courage per hour, you're gonna be wasting pretty close to like 80 millions in silver. But like if you're gonna use 80 mil in order to buff up, okay, you need to make sure that the buff is strong enough so that you make more than 80 mil with the buff you just used. So in this case at Orc Camp, it's generally not a good idea to buff up with stuff like Elixir of the Deep Sea, even though it's really strong because it gives you back attack, down attack, air attack as well, because it's really expensive. You're never gonna make up with the extra damage you're gonna get all of that silver you spent on the like elixir. In this case, we got it from free, so like this is the reason I have it here. I got it for free, so it doesn't really like, I didn't really spend any money, but it's still better to just sell it and use something like Spirit Perfume, which is like just 780k silver. Okay, it makes a lot more sense. Also, if you're reaching the cap again, like the Giant's Drought is much cheaper than the Frenzy Drought as well. But in the case you're not reaching the cap, like simple Cron meal and Frenzy are just kind of your friends. You got nothing to do, and like Frenzy Drought is only 5 million, so it's in my opinion a lot better, because like you're gonna need a lot, like either 2 of them if you're gonna make them into like a 1-hour elixir, or you're gonna need 4 of them, and that's gonna be just like 20 mil. And with the buffs that it gives you, if you're under the like the soft cap, all of those buffs will make up for the 20 mil. It's just very unlikely that it will make up for like I said 80 mil or some stuff like, but that's generally the idea. So if you're past the soft cap, you would want to use again Exquisite Cron meal, Giant's Drought, and those are your like buffs right now. You can also use a Spirit Perfume. It really depends on the class. It might be that your class maybe doesn't use Spirit Perfume. There might be cases, but you need to make sure that if it's Elixir of the Deep Sea or Perfume of Courage, that you're not just spending too much money and you're making too little in exchange, you know? If you're under, you want to use simple Cron meal with Frenzy Drought, and you want to get up there as close as possible to the soft cap. Then what other stuff can you use? So you got that. Another thing that is really important is of course you want to have like some sort of Alchemy Stone. In my case, I have the Exalted Vel. Exalted just gives you a little bit of DP, but even if you have like the base Vel Stone is really good. If not, you can just buy like a very cheap version. You can get like the Destruction Spirit Stone like this one. It's not amazing, but it's a little bit of something for very cheap until you get your Vels. So yeah, that could also work. You also get like from the quest lines, if you do, I think it's the Ulukita quest line. Let me see, you get the Ators. I'm not sure where the fuck did I put mine. Let me actually search. So like the Ators is really good. It's pretty close to Vel and it's free. Let me search right here. This is the one you get. Like this is a pretty good one that you get for free. So until you get Vels, this could actually work as a replacement. Other than that, you would like to have a combo of artifacts with light stones that makes sense for the spot. So in this case, if you're not reaching the cap, you would like to use something like this. So like we got the to the right here, we got the extra AP against monsters artifact, and we have like extra AP against monsters light stones in it. So they're called Predation. We got 2 of them in, and in this other one I'm having the other 2 stones also Predation, and in this combo you'll get some extra monster damage. Now if you are reaching the cap, you would want to have something like this. Like this is the artifact combo I'm using for orcs. This is the best in slot artifact combo for orcs right now if you're reaching the cap. So you get like 3 demi-human stones. They're called the Lightstone of Fire Roar, and you put 1 iridescent in there and it just gives you literally extra demi-human damage. So this is kind of like what you're looking for here if you wanna like maximize your artifacts. So if you're at cap, you're gonna use this. If not, you're gonna use something like this. So basically, you can also throw an iridescent here, so like you can have 3 predation and 1 iridescent for some extra damage, which is only gonna cost like 1 iridescent is like 500 mil right now, if you really want to. But I feel like that's kind of a useless artifact combo. Like you might want to keep the iridescent for other better combos. But I feel like even so, I think that the demi-human combo just gives you more stats in the end. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like I feel like in the end you're still getting more damage from this. Also, another thing that you want to take into account is obviously your like skill add-ons as well, and crystals. But like I can't really give you any advice on crystals and skill add-ons because it really depends on your class. And in my case, I'm playing Lahn Awakening, so I'm not sure if like there's certain classes that actually have different like crystal builds depending on their class's stats and from like passives and such. So the crystals are gonna differ a lot, and so will the add-ons. They'll be like completely different from class to class. But I'll be putting here, this is what my crystals are like, and here's how my add-ons. So basically you wanna, if you're playing Awakening Lahn, you wanna just have something like this. Obviously my crystals are just best in slot, so they're gonna be really expensive, but you can make cheaper versions in case you don't have the money for all of those crystals, obviously. Now we would also want to talk about the very loved church buff right now. So if you buff up, you're gonna use your Giant's Drought, your Exquisite Cron, whatever you're gonna use. You also want to pick up the church buff. So like the church buff, you come to this guy, his name is Arson. He's in Heidel, right here on the like west side of Heidel. This is the church, and you gotta talk to this guy, and this is what he has for you. So he's gonna interact, you're gonna pay him a little bit of money. So like for 2 hours, you're gonna get the attack blessing for an exchange of 3 mil silver. Also, you can get like 5 hours in exchange for 10 million silver. So it depends how much you want to grind. You're just gonna pick one of those. Now, if you think that your DP is too low and you might want a little bit of extra DP, you can also take the protection buff. And if you really want to maximize everything, you could pick the experience buff, but in my opinion, the experience buff is too low and it doesn't really make any sense, and I never get it. Like, I feel like it's just a waste of money there. So I would say if you're not worried about your DP, just get the attack buff and that's it. That's what I do personally, especially at orcs. If you are worried about your DP, you can use the extra protection, which is just a little bit. But generally speaking, personally, I pick up only the attack buff and that's it. And I get either 2 hours. If I'm gonna go grind only for 1 hour or something, I'm gonna pick the 2 hours one. If I'm going for like more and I know I'll be there for like 3-4 hours, then I'll just pick the bigger buff. It's pretty easy. So like once you pick this, obviously let's just pick it right now. I actually don't have the money to pick it up. Let's go. I'm freaking poor right now. Let's get the 2 hours one. There it goes, and it shows right here, and you get 8 AP and 8 accuracy for the money. So like 3 mil for some extra AP and extra accuracy. Now that we have the church buff, there's like just one more thing that you can pick up right now, and that is like the villa buff or the tent buff. It really depends. Like if you got like the old moon book active like I do here, you can actually pick up the villa scroll straight from the tent without having to buy like a villa invitation. So like you can just call this like some extra buff, right? And it says right here, Villa body enhancement, and it explains what it gives to you. So like 10 AP, 10 DP, 200 HP, all the resistances plus 10, and ignore all resistances plus 5%. And it costs for 2 hours is just 2.2 mil, and you can get it for 3 hours or for like 5 hours, just like the church buff. So like you can match this up with the church buff, and you get a lot of stats for it. Otherwise, you would just go to shop here and you would buy just the basic buff here, which gives you like 10 monster AP, some skill EXP, and yeah, it's gonna give you like some hypothermia resistance and shit like that, but you don't really care about that. Also, in case you don't have a tent, there is also like another way for you to get the villa buff. So as you can tell, like right here to the east in Valencia, you got like different sorts of like villas, like for example Shakatu's villa, Al-Sabi's villa and stuff, and it just they just tell you, if you put your mouse on it, it just tells you what it's like what buff it's giving you. And here on Lohan's villa, you can see it says body enhancement, so what we read earlier, right? If you're gonna click on it, if you're gonna right click on it, you can just straight go like all the way to it. You can get like a villa invitation. It's gonna be for 7 days, okay, 7 days. And during those 7 days, you can just go there, pick the 5-hour buff, and just go to your grind zone wherever you want. And I think 5 hours is enough time for you to like, go grab it and go to your grind spot and kill for like at least 3 hours before the time runs out. I'd say you'd have at least 4 hours. It's only 1 hour wasted with like going around getting the buff and stuff and just going back to your grind spot. But you can do it for free. You don't have to have the tent. It's just like a lot more chill to have the tent. Like look at all the distance I didn't have to go through because I have the tent. Like it kind of sucks. It's a little bit pay to win pretty much, but hey, it is what it is, right? But once you get like the tent buff, I'm gonna just pick up like 2 hours here as well, and there we go. It shows up right here. This one's the church, this one's the tent villa buff, and obviously this is my Vels. It's activated right here, and yeah, you're just gonna pretty much just go. You got Giant's Drought on, you got Exquisite. Like this is pretty much how your buffs will look like if you are over the cap. Like if you get over the cap, basically this is gonna be your buffs for the hour, and you're just gonna have to like always constantly remember to use your Giant's Drought or Spirit Perfume. If you have a fairy and your fairy has like I think it's called what is it, Cautious Care? Yeah, Cautious Care 5 or any level, you can just have the fairy automatically use the items for you. So right now it says 15 minutes on Giant's Drought and 20 minutes on Spirit Perfume. Well, when they run out, they will, like the fairy will just use another one as long as I have them in my inventory, right? So if you're going for 1 hour, it's really useful to have that fairy skill. If you don't, you'll have to use them manually, and that's like kind of the only thing you can do. So basically, this is pretty much everything that you need to know before you start grinding at orcs. Like those are all the things that you need to check and prepare for in order to have like a good time when you're grinding there. Okay, so now we're gonna be talking a little bit about that soft cap, right? So let's just go back to Monster Info, let's go back to orcs, and you're gonna see like right here, if you put your mouse over the 856 restricted, it tells only 5% of the exceeded AP will be applied. So what does that mean? So in my case right here, right now it says 841. Let's say I have 900, okay? If I have 900, that means that the difference between 856 and 900, those 44 AP points, will only be calculated as an addition of 5%. So in other words, only 5% of the extra 44 AP up to 900 will be calculated when you deal damage. Meaning, in this case, if it's like let's say it's 45 points, 5% of that is gonna be somewhere around like I don't even know, it's probably gonna be like 2.5 extra damage or something like that. But in any case, like it's a very small amount out of all of that points, right? So like what you want to do is check every time you go grind somewhere, just hover your mouse over here. So like on Orc Camps it says 5%. If you go to Altar Imps it says 5%. But if we go to other zones, so say I don't know, we're checking Mirumok's ruins right now. If we put on Mirumok's, it says 70%. So like now all of a sudden, say if we have 100 AP over like the number right here. So like if we have like 480, then out of the 100 points you have past 380, you're gonna be getting an extra 70 AP in damage. So that this is so much better. It means like your AP actually counts towards this damage you're dealing. While with orcs or like altar imps, it's like 5%. So that means that you only get 5% if you have like 753, right? This is the cap here. If you have 853, it's only gonna be 5%. So that's like 5 extra AP. It's so much AP only to get like 5% of it extra if it's past this cap. So this is what the soft cap is. Also, I mentioned earlier, let's go back here. If you look on Abandoned Monastery, it says like 0.5% drop from node investment benefits. If we go back to Orcs, it says 10%. And it says here a few stuff like we got node investors level 20, item drop rate is 10%, and so yada yada. What this means is like if you press M, right now we're literally at Orc Camp, right? This is the node for the Orc Camp. I'm sitting literally close to the main rotation, which is like around here. There's gonna be like a bridge here, and then left and right is the whole rotation. If you click on the Orc Camp node, you're gonna notice that I have level max here. So like if you invest energy into the node up to level 20, which is max, you will get extra drop rate, specifically from the grind spot related to the node. So in this case, Orc Camp node is related to Orc Camp grind spot, which means whenever I kill orcs, I have 10% extra drop rate, and it explains there how it works. Also, one more thing, earlier I explained that you have like quests, and if you see at Orc Camp Elvia and the Monster Info, you have like 3 different reoccurring quests, which will give you like different kinds of like rewards if you do them. And since they're like reoccurring, you can do them every single day. I believe it even says Elvia daily here. And if you want to do them, all you have to do is click on the quest, and then on the map it's just gonna show you the way to the NPC, which is like pretty close in this case, right? You just go to this NPC, you pick up all the daily quests, and then you can start your grind, and you're gonna get a little bit of extra stuff. I believe you're gonna get some Caphras and stuff, and it's a little bit of extra money for that 1 hour a day. So I suggest you do that as well. So yeah, I guess I feel like this is also important to explain like how the percentages work, so you know for like every single like spot you go into. That's how you know it's a 5%, a 70%, it just says there. Now, let's talk about the mechanics of Orc Camp. As a Lahn, you can leave your horse here together with your tent. Basically, for other classes, I'm sure the horse is better left off here on the bridge. But as a Lahn, you can easily traverse the river here, so You can either do this, or you can just like plain fly out, and you can access your horse here. And like this, nobody can just come and drag mobs and kill your horse if they like do this intentionally or by mistake. But like for other classes that can traverse the river, I feel like the best place is somewhere around here, and like mobs are pretty far away from you. Also, as soon as you get here, the first thing you'll notice there's no mobs. That is because you want to switch to Elvia Realm. Now, to switch to Elvia Realm, near your mini-map here in the top right corner, you have a green button. It says Elvia Realm. You want to be full HP for this, and you want to make sure that you're sitting still, and you can just click this button, press enter, it's gonna load in, and it's gonna switch it to Elvia. So this is how you get into Elvia Realm. This is where you have your horse and your tent. There's like multiple placements, like I said, for if you're gonna just kill normally like this, so see the mobs appeared, everything is darker now. If you're gonna kill like this, I feel like this is the best spot for your horse if you're not a Lahn or if you can't traverse the river. But if you're gonna go into Monsterzone, you can also leave your horse and tent here. I'm sure you can leave your horse here as well, like right now. But again, if somebody comes, they could just drag mobs onto your horse and kill it. So yeah, that could suck. Either way, now that we are in Elvia and we started seeing monsters, I would say that like at orc camps, the mechanic is pretty easy. So how does this work? Basically, as soon as you get in, you will notice that right here we just got like a little bit like a little hut, and this guy on the right is literally an orc mage. And how this works is like if you destroy the hut, you'll notice there's some glowing light in the middle of the hut. Now those are like some sort of like spirits, and as you break that hut, the spirits will help you deal more damage to the orcs. So like what you want to do is you want to make sure in your rotation that you actually destroy those huts, and when enough spirits are out, they'll just debuff the whole spot for you. Now the mages are there to just like stop them from debuffing the spot, and like they'll just cast a spell, and if they go through with it, the debuff will go away. So what you want to do as you're breaking the huts, you want to make sure that every single time as you're going through the spot, you're killing this guy on the right, okay? Now, this is kind of the gist of it. There's nothing else like more complicated about this. As you're killing, you might also drop like a weapon buff, which you need to pick up, and that makes you significantly stronger and helps you like kill orcs even faster than with the debuff. Now, what I suggest is, first of all, you should have your church buff. You should also go grab your tent buff if you have one. Now that we have both church buff and tent buff, you can also, if you're gonna go for only 1 hour, you can also go with your Cron meal. In this case, I'll just pop the simple Cron meal here. Prepare your item collection gauge. Make sure you add some scrolls to it. We're gonna add 5 scrolls here. Make sure you start your Alchemy Stone, right? But for the rest of the buffs, okay? For the rest of the buffs and for starting the collection gauge, I would say first, just go around and get the debuff on the spot first. Now, like I said, in order to get the debuff from the spot, you'll just want to go around, kill the mage, kill the hut, right? You were going around. I'm just gonna do this like slowly to emphasize. Like, see, here is a red orc wizard, and the hut. The hut is called like red orc prison, right? Basically, it holds the spirits, and you see the spirit is out now. We're just gonna go and kill all of those prisons. We're gonna kill the red orc wizards as well on the spot. We're going in circles, right? Because it's like the most efficient way. And like basically this is kind of the rotation. You can just go the way I'm going right now, or you can just go in reverse if you'd like. I see a lot of people that just do it in reverse. It doesn't really matter. And like once you killed all of the huts and the wizards on the rotation, which is just a few of them, I don't think you have to kill all of the huts. I think there's more than enough, but you can, like, you know, as you're killing, you will just like get them on the way anyway. Like it doesn't really matter. So like once you got absolutely every single one of them, you can just go back to the initial position, reset, and you will notice that the debuff is on, because as you can see, there's like some firecrackers, lights and stuff going out of the zone. So that means you activated the debuff. Now the mobs are weaker. Also, if we go on the other side as well, you'll notice the same effect going on here. So now you know they're debuffed. Now that they're debuffed, if you buff up for 1 hour from now on, so like you start up this and then you go here and you just put on, like, say a frenzy, a deep sea and whatever, and then you start killing them, it's gonna be significantly easier now to kill them. So basically the idea is, as you're going, now the first rotation is just gonna be a lot faster. So it basically, it's to maximize the amount of loot you're gonna get in 1 hour, to be fair. Obviously, you could also count it as like you went ahead and did some killing beforehand, so like basically your hour kind of started. Then it doesn't really matter. This really helps so you can have like a smooth 1 hour of grind without problems. Like right now I'm not trying to try hard the orcs and shit. Like my damage is higher. I'm using a frenzy right now, which basically doesn't help me much here. But yeah, the gist is that you want to like buff up the spot first so that your hour goes smoothly. Like you're dealing the highest amount of damage you can. Okay, so here after killing for a little bit, you can see I dropped like a young Valtara, right? You will see this on the minimap as a question mark, or you will just see it on your screen. It looks just like the other spirits, like on the left here, but it just has like young Valtara written all over it. This is the weapon buff I've been talking about. So like when you're gonna kill here, this is gonna drop a lot, and every other 10 minutes you can get this buff. So like if I get this buff right now, I'll have it for 10 minutes, and then it's gonna be on 10 minutes cooldown, and then you can get it again. Now let's just pick it up and see what happens. So you're just gonna interact with it real quick. You're gonna press RRR fast and can get it, and now we're gonna be like significantly stronger. So like for example here, it's gonna take only 1 hit to kill all the mobs. Here as well, like I can kill them with my basic attacks like this, because we're significantly stronger right now. So also like another one dropped, which is pretty fun. See right there in the corner, another one dropped. So like now you're significantly faster here, and you just make more loot because of it. Of course, if your pets can handle it, but generally speaking, they should like handle at least a little bit more. You should be getting a little bit more, even if your pets are like tier 1. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, with tier 4 pets, you can make a shit ton of trash here. There's people even with like Awakening Lahn that make like somewhere around 31k trash here, but like that's just like the highest level. Like we're talking about extreme people that are really good at the class. Like for me, for example, the amount I'm making here with everything I've said in the video is somewhere around like 27k. Something like I could probably do 28k if I try harding enough. The idea is not to freaking ruin your wrists and stuff. You should just go slow and steady. Like if you gonna like force yourself for an hour and then just quit, maybe just go slower and go for 2 hours, and that's always gonna be more money. Another thing, like a small tip that I want to give is like some of you playing different classes, maybe even as Lahn if you're really good, might overclear. So like if you go through the whole rotation, you might end up here and oh, there's no mobs. What am I gonna do? Well, if you have the weapon buff and you're super fast, I could just recommend like you can go up here. You can go either like if you're really fast, you can go this way and just kill a few monsters here and such. And then after you kill like the few monsters around here like this, you can just go all the way around here and just after you kill those, you can just go here and kill those guys. It's like we went uphill from that side, like see there's the bridge, we went to the right side here and now we're going to the left side of the bridge here on top of this fort, and we're just killing all of the monsters here. Basically this is if you're clearing too fast. If you're not clearing too fast, like you don't go on the other side and you notice like there's no mobs, you don't need to do this. But this is only if you're over clearing. Like if you're really good at orcs and you're over clearing, this is what you do. And you just kill the huts here as well, because like those mobs are not debuffed if you want to. Like you're only gonna come here when you have the weapon buff. Rarely there's someone killing so fast that they over clear without the buff. But hey, if you're one of those, you probably already know what you're doing. And then you just drop here. Like with the Lahn, I'm just flying off, so it's a lot easier. But yeah, like basically we're back on the rotation we were doing earlier, and we're just like clearing again. And like this is kind of like the gist of the location. This is what you want to do. Like if you over clear, you go there. This is how you debuff, this is how you get the weapon buff, and this is how it works out. Other than this, like there's nothing much to say. One tip that I want to give, which a lot of people need to know, is when you're killing, if there's one mob chasing you, just don't look like here, for example. Just don't kill that guy. Just freaking go ahead. Like you either stay behind and waste a second to like use one more skill on that guy chasing you, or you could just go ahead and kill 5 others, you know? Just don't look back. Don't stress yourself on mobs that are left behind. Stress yourself on the things ahead, you know? It's a lot better to kill the 5 mobs ahead than the one guy chasing you behind. It's never good. Like you'd rather just like make the rotation longer, like I showed you earlier, than just kill every single mob on the rotation first. Obviously, like some classes have such long range and such good coverage that mostly it won't happen. Like it's very rare for like classes with a lot of AoE to leave monsters behind. But even if they do, you never should be looking back for that one monster. Right now I'm not going too fast, I'm just going slowly, I'm explaining, but this can go like super fast. Anyway, I feel like this is kind of the gist for orcs. The rotation is basically kind of what I've been doing. You can also kill the guys here in the corner. Like those are some mobs you can also kill if you're fast but not super fast. If you kill those 3 guys in the corner there by the river, it's gonna be like significantly better like than just doing like the extended rotation, because it might just like those 3 mob groups there might just be enough, so you don't have to go all the way up there. I'm sure going up there is also like kind of harder for like some of the classes. You might have to climb up that wall right there and jump off of, but I feel like it's still worth it if you're like overkilling it. But yeah, like this is kind of the gist of like Orc Camp. That was like all of the preparation. This is all the buffs you need. I also showed you guys some crystals and add-ons for Awakening Lahn. This is basically how you do it with Awakening Lahn mostly. With different classes, it doesn't change by a lot. Maybe there's some classes that have a better rotation than this, so you need to check it up with your Discord for the specific class and such. But mostly, like, this is the rotation and so on. You can do it the other way around, so I'll just show it real quick. But you can also, like, when you get here, I was going this way, right? And going straight. Now you can also go the other way around, obviously, and just kill the mobs here, and then downhill, right here, and so on. Like, it doesn't really matter much. I feel like there might be like a difference because there's like mob positioning and stuff, but the mob positioning matters only like when you're trying to back attack, right? So like you just position yourself in such way to hit the mobs in the back because you deal more damage when you hit them in the back. That's kind of like it. There's nothing much to it. So you just want to make sure you position your character behind the mobs to attack them. So no matter if you go the way I showed you or the other way around, the idea is you want to be behind them and shoot them as fast as possible so they don't get to like face towards you. Okay, so one more thing I want to clarify is your trash loot and everything you're gonna drop on Orc Camp. So like if we gonna go on Monster Info, Orc Camp again, you gotta see you gotta see on other, everything you gotta be dropping when you're killing here. Now those are the items that will make you money, and now I'm gonna explain a little bit about every single one of them. So first of all, we're gonna start with the Holy Orange Mushroom. This is the trash loot. Basically, at this point you probably know already what the trash loot is. You're gonna gather a lot of those. It's probably gonna be anywhere between 15k to 30k depending on your AP, depending on your skill level, depending on your class. Those you're just gonna sell to the vendor and get your money from the grind. Now traces of nature, again, you're gonna be getting some of those, probably somewhere around 100 of them, 200, depends on how lucky you are and such. Those I suggest you keep them in your central market or somewhere in the storage. If you want to do alchemy or anything like that, you keep them. If not, you can just sell them. Now Valtara Flame and Seed of Void, you can create some like items, but most of them are like very useless and nobody uses them at all. My recommendation is to just like sell them to the vendor as well. As you can see, Seed of Void is 10 million a piece at the vendor. So if you get like 10 of those in an hour, which is kind of like how much you should be getting around, you gotta make like 100 million extra. And then Valtara's Flame is 3 million a piece, and you're gonna get somewhere like 20, 30 of those in an hour or so. Like that's a lot of money again. It's also close. If you get 30, it's also like 90 million, right? So like those two you want to sell with the trash loot together. Like you want to sell those. Nobody keeps them. They're just like extra money for you. With Heart of the Arid Forest and Shard of the Furious Night, those are items you might want to keep at least for like a while. You just keep them. There's no other thing you can do with them. You can't sell them really because they're kind of cheap. Like 100k silver won't make you any money. You're gonna get just a few of them, like probably somewhere like 30 of the Heart of the Arid Forest and just about 10 shards. So you don't really like you can really sell them. So you just keep them, and later on you will use them maybe to make like some cups for your accessories. Now the accessory cups are like something else for like end game gear kind of stuff. Basically you add this thing on your accessory, which gives you like an extra bonus. And they're made from like different drops from around Elvia. So Shard of the Furious Night is one of them. You can see on the item right here, it explains like all sorts of cups you can do with it. Same with the Heart of the Arid Forest. It's used in like some of the cups recipes. Massive Pure Magic, you will also keep this. You want as many as possible. You get the stones that you use to upgrade your items from a recipe that contains Massive Pure Magic. So Massive Pure Magic, just as many as possible, keep them in the storage. Now with Sealed Black Magic Crystal and Black Stone, and if you're a beginner, you might need a lot of black stones for like Jetina pen accessories, and you'll need the Sealed Black Magic Crystal to melt it for like magical shard, also for the Jetina pens and stuff. So you might want to keep them at the beginning if you don't have those already. And if you have your Jetina pens and stuff, you might still want to keep a little bit of black stones and a little bit of sealed black magic crystals. Say you hold up to like 100 sealed black magic crystals and about 2000 black stones, and everything else from there you can just sell. You could also sell them and buy them later if that's your thing. Personally, I just like have a little bit of something on me just in case somehow, I don't know, I have a hard time buying them later. Say maybe I just need a few of them, but I used up all my money because I'm just like doing this crazy upgrade session. It's nice to have them, you know, like just keep them in a storage somewhere on. I personally keep them in Central Market. So like this is basically what it is about the loot here. I just want to say, like, with the trash loot, what should you expect from the trash loot? So like a lot of people will give you a shit ton of different numbers here. Some will say, oh my god, you made only like 18k, you're so shit. Well, that's not entirely true. 18k is a low number, but it really depends. So like if your AP is 260, which is like the minimum requirement here, you might make just 18-20k, you know. If you're a beginner, especially, you don't know your class too well, you're probably gonna make somewhere between 15 and 20k. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get better. Your items will get better. You will initially you will do bad, and you'll just get to the point where you get to like what would be the average. And like the average right now, like what you should expect, so like if you're improving and you're getting better, you should expect like around 24k at Orc Camp is where you're kind of like gonna slow down a bit. And everything past 24k, this is basically the Garmot's average right now. Everything past 24k means you're doing great. So like if you do more than 24k, in my case I do 27, 28k with Awakening Lahn, because Awakening Lahn is not so great at orcs. But if you do say more than 24, that means you're doing like either average or better than average. It also depends on like a lot of factors, like how lucky you are with the buff. There's times when I actually don't get 3 buffs in 1 hour. Like I've had hours even now, and they made it better than before. Before it was even harder. Before you would have like multiple hours with only 2 buffs. But I still have like unlucky hours where I just get 2 buffs. So that makes it like a bit slower. It's the class. Like Awakening Lahn here is not so great. With Nova, I would be making like somewhere around like 30 something k. I don't even know. I haven't played Nova here for a while. Last time I did, it was probably somewhere around like 32k. So Nova is absolutely insane here. There's other classes which are trash tier at PvE, like Kunoichi, which is one of my favorite classes. She just doesn't do well here. You can expect from a good Kuno to do like maybe good, but most Kunos will just do like pretty bad here. You could expect somewhere like 20 to 24k trash with a Kuno here. So basically, don't let yourself down. If you're a trash loot or money per hour, it doesn't sound similar to what other dudes are like bragging about. First of all, you want to know that a lot of people brag in this game, so they'll just be like, oh my god, I'm making a gazillion silver here. How the fuck do you not make that? Well, some of them are just exaggerating. They're lying. They might have like, I don't know, they're going in Monsterzone, for example, and it's 1 hour and 5 minutes in Monsterzone, and they kill for the extra minutes, but they call it an hour, you know. An hour technically is 60 minutes. Everything past the 60 minutes is just extra. But you also shouldn't ever like stress about the hours, okay? You should always just take it slow. If you want to kill for money, it's good to like segment your killing in hours so you can take a break and such. But you can also just go for like 1 hour and a half if you want. Like, you know, if you're a psycho and you want to do it, just do 1 hour and 10 minutes, 1 hour and a half, and just leave and then come back. It doesn't really matter. To be fair, it's up to you how you gonna grind in terms of time, right? So just don't stress too much over it. You're gonna get better. Not everyone saying they make crazy numbers are lying. Like some of them are, but like some of them are really monsters at the game. and they make a shit ton. There's people making 54k, 60k trash in Kratuga, which is an insane amount. And like the average pleb makes somewhere between 30 to 40k, for example. So you must know that there are some people that are insane, but not every guy that writes in chat is gonna talk the truth. That's about it. Anyway, with this being said, I hope this video helps somebody. Basically, I just wanted to give like every single insight, just give all the details and stuff, and explain the process on how you prepare yourself for a specific zone. I picked Orc Camp because it's really popular. Even now, a lot of people are using up Orc Camp. A lot less than like a year ago or something, when there would be like one guy every 10 minutes asking for a duel here. But it's still one of the best like mid-tier like grind spots, and to be fair, it can get confusing. Like a lot of people, I'm sure there's a lot of beginners that don't know all of the stuff I've talked about in the video, so it's good to have this here. Just look through it, pause wherever you need, get the info you need, and just make use of it to make more silver. You're gonna make more silver if you got all the stuff exactly the way I explained it. You just need to make sure your crystals and add-ons are actually like based on your class, and they have like the specific combination from like this, like for example from your class Discord, right? So that's what you want to make sure. And with all of this together, you're gonna be making a little bit extra silver than if you don't use certain stuff in the video. So I'm hoping this was helpful to somebody. I know this is a long video. I wanted it to make it short, but like it's impossible. Like there's a lot of stuff to be talking about. I made this for Orc Camp, but a lot of the stuff I said works with literally every single grind spot in the game, so it doesn't necessarily have to be Orc Camp. It's pretty much kind of the same process for like a lot of the Serendia Elvia spots. It's pretty much the same stuff for the Caltheon Elvia spots. It's just that like the mechanics might differ, the drops might be a little bit different. But other than that, like the way you prepare for the spot is kind of the same. So if you thought this video was useful to you, I would appreciate if you left a like, maybe a comment if you want to ask something, and hey, if you want to catch me on the next video, might also want to subscribe. I'll be there, and I hope to see you as well. Bye bye.